Peace and love, family. I'm back with another one. This is the Helping Our People Elevate YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning viewer, as I always say, I appreciate you for helping me build this platform. It wouldn't be no hope without y'all. And so today we're going to go into Juan Garrido, the first Black or Moor conquistador, and we're going to go into a little bit about Hernan Cortes and the kidnapping of Montezuma II. So like I said, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're a returner, leave a comment, show some love. Without holding y'all, we're gonna jump straight into it. Oh, I was thinking, since I did a giveaway last year when I hit 500 subs, and I'm on a route to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna do another giveaway once I hit 1,000 subscribers. And so we on that route to 1,000 subs. Let's jump straight into it. Peace and love, family.
On behalf of Akuno Call for Bay, you know what I'm saying? Jay, where you at? We're trying to help our people elevate. Hope. H-O-P-E. We're giving them hope. We doing what we gotta do, you know. Every day, one step at a time, man. We gonna make it happen. Helping our people elevate. Yeah. Sometimes I practice, focus, thought, and meditate. I'm trying to come with other ways to help our people elevate and seeking knowledge, make me levitate. The lifted mental state is what results from how we orchestrate. This for the family's sake. Let's self-reflect and self-evaluate. And every day, make sure the steps you take, you calculate. Receive a master's fate. I know I can't exist without the hate, but that's okay. I balance that with higher self today. Success is on this way, and after that, my flesh can pass away.
Now, as I said, we're going to discuss Juan Garrido, the first Black or Moor conquistador, and we're going to talk a little bit about Hernan Cortes and the kidnapping or the ransom of Montezuma II. During the Spanish Reconquista, Muslims in Spain were forced to convert to Christianity or face exile, becoming known as Moriscos, which translates to little Moor in Spanish. The term Morisco is used by historians to describe the former Muslims and their descendants who remained in the Iberian Peninsula after the last Muslim kingdom fell in 1492. Here are some key events in the history of the Moriscos. And Morisco is Latin for Moors. So the Moors, or the Moors who were in Spain during this time frame that converted to Christianity, they were called Moriscos. The War of the Alpujarras, a rebellion led by a Morisco named Ibn Hamaya from 1568 to 1571. The rebellion took place in the Alpujarra region, located between Granada and the Mediterranean coast. The Morisco population was expelled from Granada and disappeared throughout the Kingdom of Castile. The expulsion of Moriscos. The Moriscos were expelled from Spain in several phases, starting in 1610 and ending 5 years later. An estimated 300,000 Moriscos were relocated to Algiers, Tanzania, and Morocco. And so they were kicked out of Spain and sent back to Morocco. Some factors that contribute to the expulsion of the Moriscos include the Moriscos were subject to discriminatory taxation. The silk trade, their staple industry, was reduced by the misguided fiscal policy. The Moriscos were ill-taught in their new faith. The Moriscos were punished for ignorance by the church and Inquisition. So the word Morisco is Spanish for Moorish or Moors, who were former Muslims and their descendants whom the Catholic Church and Habsburg Spain commanded to forcibly convert to Christianity or face compulsory exile after Spain outlawed Islam. The reason why I put this on here is so that before I get into the Juan Garrido, you will understand that this brother, this Moor, was forced into Christianity. He was converted into Christianity. So this was the first Morisco before Columbus, the first Moor before Columbus to sail to the Americas. Juan Garrido was a free Black or Moor man who sailed with the Spanish as the conquistadors and participated in many expeditions, including some that involved Columbus's brother, Diego Columbus. I bet many of y'all didn't know there was a Diego Columbus, did you? They don't talk about him in the schools. Puerto Rico. Garrido joined Juan Ponce de Leon's expedition to Puerto Rico in 1508, where he fought alongside the Spanish against natives who revolted in 1511. Florida. After Ponce de Leon lost his position to Diego Columbus in 1513, he took Garrido and others on an expedition to look for another treasure island, where they instead found Florida. Mexico. Garrido later helped Hernan Cortes take Mexico. In recognition for his service, he was named herald and keeper of the town of Mexico and was given a plot of land. Who was Juan Garrido from 1480 to 1550? He was a free Moorish conquistador who fought in the Spanish conquest of the Americas. He was the first Moor known to reach what is now the United States and is considered to be one of the first Moor Americans in the New World. He participated in the Spanish conquest of the Americas. Garrido fought in the conquest of Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the islands of Guadalupe and Dominica. He also joined Hernando Cortes's expedition in Mexico and Baja California. He introduced wheat farming to the Americas. Garrido is credited with being the first known farmer to sow wheat in America. He received recognition for his services. Garrido was named herald and keeper of the town of Mexico and was granted a plot of land. He was also granted a house plot in Mexico City and property of a dried-out lake bed outside the former Aztec capital. Now let's talk about the Aztec king who was kidnapped by the Spanish, Montezuma II. While Aztec Emperor Montezuma had a famous confrontation with Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes, he initially welcomed Cortes, but when unable to buy him off, laid a trap into Tenochtitlan. Cortes, however, took Montezuma prisoner, hopefully to prevent an Aztec attack. Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes kidnapped Aztec Emperor Montezuma II in 1519 for several reasons, including fear of his life, where Cortes and his men were outnumbered and far from the Gulf of Mexico, to maintain control. Cortes wanted to keep the people of Tenochtitlan in the line and project authority to the Spanish crown. To prevent an Aztec attack, Cortes hoped to prevent an attack by the Aztecs, so he used Montezuma as a puppet ruler. Cortes wanted to use Montezuma as a puppet ruler. One thing I always want y'all to recognize is they had all these different paints back then. I always look at the skin and the images that I'll show y'all. We know a lot of them have been whitewashed. In today's time, they've been rewritten, but if they were originally pale skinned, then why are there any dark skinned images? Period. They would have to make them pale to fit their agenda. So we ain't gonna get into that, but let's continue going. After the kidnapping of Aztec Emperor Montezuma II, the Spanish faced a number of challenges, including a distraught retreat known as La Noche Triste and the Battle of Untumba. La Noche Triste, in June 1520, the Spanish tried to escape Tenochtitlan in the dark, but were spotted and attacked by the Mexican warriors. The Spanish suffered heavy losses, including the death of about 600 Spaniards, most of Cortez's horses, and 2 of Montezuma's children. The Spanish also lost nearly all of their treasure. This event deeply impacted Spanish morale and temporarily set back their conquest of the Aztecs. The Battle of Untumba. The Spanish fought the Aztecs again at the Battle of Untumba, where they defeated the Aztecs and gained a small respite. This allowed the Spanish to reach Tlaxcala, where Cortes planned to seize the Tenochtitlan. Spanish victory at Tenochtitlan. The Spanish victory at Tenochtitlan led by the rapid collapse of the Aztec Empire. The Spanish brought Mesoamerica under their rule and established a colony of New Spain, which is why we have New Mexico. Well, where's Old Mexico? New York. Well, where's Old York? You had a Duke of York who named New York. That's where York came from. I mean, all these names came from the Spanish, the French, and Great Britain. Los Angeles, San Antonio, San Francisco, all these Latin names. But where all these come from? The Spanish. Juan Garrido with Hernan Cortes, 1520. Born around 1480 in West Africa, Juan Garrido is most prominent among the small group of African freemen who traveled to the Americas to take part in the Spanish conquest of the West Indies and Mexico in the late 15th century and early 16th centuries. He later became an agricultural innovator and is credited with introducing wheat harvesting to the Americas. After arriving in Lisbon, Portugal, and becoming Christianized, Garrido traveled to the island of San Domingo. Although the record is conflicting, he probably accompanied a Spaniard by the name of Pedro Garrido as a protege or a servant. By 1508, Juan Garrido was part of the Spanish auxiliary forced to help invade the capture of Puerto Rico and Cuba. In 1538, petitionary proof of merit to the Spanish Archivo General de Indias at Seville describes his 30 years of service to the Spanish crown in various imperial conquests, including the pacification of the Caribbean islands. In 1519, Garrido, a veteran conquistador, was a member of the Hernan Cortes expeditionary force that invaded Mexico and laid siege on the Aztec capital at Tenochtitlan. Having witnessed and survived the slaughter of Cortez's troops in July 1520, Garrido assisted in collecting dead bodies of Spanish soldiers and erecting commemorative chapels near the sites of the killings. For his services in the conquest of Mexico, Garrido was granted property of the dried-out lake bedside outside the former Aztec capital in 1522. Garrido became a farmer and was the first cultivator to harvest a wheat crop in the Americas. Along with cultivating grapes, Garrido's wheat production was in direct response to the appetites of the growing number of Spanish circulars and religious settlers in Mexico. Wheat bread played an important cultural role as a maker of elite social status. In 1523, Juan Garrido again took part in an expeditionary exercise to explore the economic viability of the regions of Michoacan and Zacatula. While a resident of the new Spanish city, he was granted a house plot in between 1524 and 1526, held post of both doorkeeper of the city and protector of the capital's main source of water. The Chapultepec Aqueduct, Garrido was paid a sum of 50 pesos a year. In 1528, Garrido was following the gold rush to Zacatula province with a group of slaves and equipment. Finding little success, he returned to Mexico City the same year in debt. Garrido's fortune took a turn, however, as he became part of the staff of Hernan Cortes' expedition Baja California from 1533 to 1536. While hoping to find gold, pearls, and Amazons, Garrido and company encountered only poor weather and a disease-disseminated native population. The expedition was a failure, and Garrido returned to Mexico City. According to legal documents, Garrido died in the capital sometime between 1547 and 1550, leaving behind a wife and children. Hernan Cortes, a Spanish conquistador, died in Seville, Spain in 1547 from a lung disease. Here are some other things that happened to Cortes. He failed to regain his title. After returning from Mexico, Cortes went to Spain to try to regain his title, but was unsuccessful. He retired to Spain. In 1540, Cortes retired to Spain, where he spent his later years trying to gain recognition for his achievements and support from the Spanish royal courts. He was accused of poisoning Luis Ponce de Leon. When Luis Ponce de Leon, a commissioner of inquiry, died almost immediately, Cortes was accused of poisoning him. He was forced to retire his estate. As a result of the accusation, Cortes was forced to retire his estate. So this was about Juan Garrido, the first Black and Moor conquistador, Hernan Cortes, and the kidnapping of Montezuma II. And so again, if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll catch y'all on the next one, family. Peace and love. I appreciate y'all so much. Peace.